You ready? You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, theys, and gays. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter here. I hope you're safe. I hope you're well. I hope you're having a really great start to your holiday season. I've got a review for a new indie film in Perfectly Good Moment, which is written by and stars and produced by Amanda Jane Stern, who you're going to know from One Angry Black Man, The Incoherence, uh, Discover Indie Film, just to name a few things. Here, she stars as Ruby, who is a young woman who's dating an older man, and it really gets into the ramifications of their back and forth relationship and really the nuts and bolts behind their relationship and some more potentially nefarious things that are going on that we're not seeing yet. So, I really like the way that this film opens up. It opens up with her at Columbia College, at this like drink mixer. She's just kind of staying there awkwardly, kind of just trying to go ahead and feel the situation out as you do in social situations. And that's where we are introduced to David, who's played by Stephen Carlisle, who actually played Scar on The Lion King on Broadway, which that's fucking awesome. So a couple things about this movie. I don't want to get too much into it because there's a lot of surprises in this movie, and I do want y'all to go ahead and experience those firsthand, unfiltered, untouched, without my influence. What I will say is I wouldn't watch a trailer for this movie. I personally would go into this as cold as possible because of some things that do occur. I really wouldn't want the trailer to paint a certain way for you how this film could go or anything like that. I think going into this movie as cold as possible is actually the best way to watch it. Very similar, I would say, to something like Last Night in Soho, where I think the less you knew about that film going in, that last third really hits you in the mouth in the best way because of, potentially not knowing that much going in. Um, I can feel the potential influence of a movie like Don't Worry, Darling in this film. Um, because there are definitely similar kind of story beats to it as far as what it's trying to say. But what I will say about this, where I think this completely leapfrogs the fuck out of something like Don't Worry, Darling, is the fact that this script is clearly written with story and dialogue in mind first, and then what happens in the third act as far as a potential twist that services the story and the dialogue. It's not the other way around. And I think that really big key component is the main difference in something like this versus something like Don't Worry, Darling, where you could easily fall into multiple pitfalls because you're not writing the script in the correct fashion. So I don't want to give away too much, but I will give you guys a bit of a floor. So we find out that Ruby, that Ruby and David have gone ahead and separated multiple times. You find out that they've been together a good amount of time. And what I really like about this movie is that it's split up into acts. So, like, Act 1, we kind of get their relationship in present day. Act 2, we get more of, like, their backstory as far as how they got to the place that they're at. And then Act 3 is where shit just gets wild, and I'll just leave it at that. But I have to give Stephen Carlisle all the credit in the world because, look, I can't imagine what it's like to read a script like this and see the terrible things that David is going to do and is going to say, and go, yeah, I'm totally down. Clearly, there's a lot of trust here between everyone on set, between the actors and everything. Before I forget, I want to bring this up. I think this is the first time I've seen it in a movie, maybe ever. In the opening credits, you actually get there's an intimacy coordinator, and that's actually mentioned in the opening credits as opposed to just the end credits. And I think that's an incredibly important distinction, especially because we're dealing with a movie with the subject matter that we're dealing with, because this really is like an erotic thriller with some very, very heavy dramatic beats that really caught me off guard. Like when this movie gets dark, it gets like opaque. Um, there were a couple points where I was genuinely squirming in my chair. Like, I don't like how uncomfortable this is making. And y'all know me. It takes a lot to make me fucking uncomfortable. But I gotta give Amanda and company a lot of credit for being willing to go to these depths that they go to. Because yeah, Act Two especially, there's some shit that I just went, oh, okay. Um, I can share this one just because it's early enough. It's early enough in the film. There's a point where David is talking to Ruby. He's talking about like, oh, like I have this incredible night planned for us. It's gonna be like romantic and sexy and da 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 da. And he goes ahead and he opens this bottle of wine. And I will say too, to be a total dude, Amanda Jane Stern, fine. Y'all know I have a thing for. I mean, come on, she's fucking gorgeous. Um, but this is almost like watching that movie Shame with Michael Fassbender. Like, yeah, there's some like hot stuff in here, but it's so tied to this incredibly toxic behavior that it's not something that you're gonna be like, oh, this is fucking hot. You're gonna be like, oh, this is hot, but also, oh, you remember that Family Guy joke where it's like, oh, hey, welcome back to Showgirls, yeah, on TBS. Aw, it's basically that. It's it's basically that feeling for the whole runtime, and there's this one scene where David opens up this bottle of wine and Ruby goes ahead to go ahead and take a sip and he hits her hand like it's not ready yet. And I was just like, first off, fuck you. But secondly, like it's not done like a playful way, like hey, like we gotta give it a minute. No, he like hits her hand like you would hit a dog. Like and it's one of those moments that shocked me in a way that I was like, what the fuck? But it's so sad that that's like the like not bad from his perspective, because some of the shit that he says to her, there's this whole monologue about their future together, and I don't want to spoil the monologue, so I'll just say that. And David just starts rattling these things off in the way that uh, that Amanda plays it. You almost see like the life just leaving her eyes and realizing the gravity of how controlling David is in that moment. And it's haunting the way that he goes ahead and presents himself. It's really, quite frankly, disturbing. And again, for it to make me as uncomfortable as it did, I give everyone so much credit on that front because it's so uncomfortable, especially in Act Two, where you just really feel the complete weight of the situation. I think Act One does a good job of giving you that intro. You know things are bad, but you don't know how bad things are. You know what I mean? Because there are levels to it. You know, you might be in a relationship where, you know, maybe you argue once a month. Like, not great, but maybe you can work through that with counseling. There's a point where you realize in this movie that David is far beyond counseling, that this is who he is at his core of being a person, and that Ruby needs to get the absolute fuck away from him as far as humanly fucking possible. And as things get more dire and those walls really do close in, I think the script writing gets better. I think Act One is really good, and then I think Act Two is fucking great, and then I think Act Three is fucking great. Like it really does ramp up in a very logical way to what is a pretty wild ending that some of you might get if you're paying attention, but the way it is presented and the way that's written, it's presented in a twist, but not in a like M Night, like it's here because it has to be here. but it's done in a very natural way that I was like, okay, hell yeah, I really dug the way you went about that. So, getting my final thoughts, I dug this. I dug this a lot. I mean, the dialogue is super well done. There is a use of a song in here that caught me so off guard in the best way. I was like, oh shit, it's this song. Let's go. Like, it really was like a very pleasant surprise. And the way that it actually factors into the film, I thought was incredibly well done. And yeah, the last 25 minutes just goes ape shit, but in the best way. That act three is a banger, and you always want to end on a strong note, and this film definitely does that. So as far as the grade, this is an easy B plus. I dug this a lot. Like, this is something that um, I will put that out. I will put the caveat out there that if you have gone through an abusive relationship, whether it's physically, emotionally, spiritually, I I don't think this will be. I don't know if I don't want to say this will be triggering for you, but I would put that out there. Just be aware of the subject matter. But at the same time, I think that a lot of people are going to be empowered and feel seen watching this movie. Um, I think there's a lot more to this than meets the eye. I think this will warrant some really great discussion post film. And I'll say too, if you have like teenagers, like 14, 15, I if I had a teenage son, teenage daughter, I would definitely show them both this in the way that, yeah, don't act like this, and also don't let someone treat you like this. But yeah, this is a B plus, and it's definitely something you should check out. It's a very quick watch too. It's only 72 minutes, but there's a lot of content in here. They really did maximize their time here. So props to everyone involved in this. I really dug this. So yeah, B plus for perfectly good moments. Yeah, so you can actually watch this on VOD right now, or you can watch it on Tubi for free. There are some ad breaks, but ironically enough, the ad breaks actually sync up with the ad breaks. So I actually really like the way that worked out. So yeah, definitely check this out. It is well worth your time, and I think this is something that's gonna, yeah, definitely check this out though. So yeah, perfectly good moment. Have y'all seen it? What'd you think about it? Let me know in the comments. You go ahead and follow yours truly on YouTube. Go ahead and make sure you hit the bell so you know when notifications are popping up, when new videos are up, and when I'm going live. You can follow me on the show on YouTube at The Real Pineapple. That's REEL Pineapple. You can follow me on Blue Sky at realpineapple.bsky.social. I am no longer on Twitter, so if you want to talk to your boy, that's one of the best ways to do it. You can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at jhunterrealpineapple. That's jhunter and then REEL and then pineapple. You can follow me on Letterboxd at Black Shazam. And you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/therealpineapple. And you can go ahead and like, share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. It definitely helps the show out. You can find the podcast pretty much wherever you listen to them: SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Tune Up, to name a few, at The Real Pineapple. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. By the time you hear this, my review with the writer and the star of the film, Amanda J. Stern, will be up on the channel as well. I'm interviewing her tomorrow. I'm really excited to talk to her about this movie. But yeah, I'll have a review up for that. I'm going to have a review up here this week for... I might go see Craven the Hunter. I don't know if I want to suffer through that, but I might go see it. But gonna have some more reviews coming up for y'all, including reviews for Nora, including reviews for Conclave, including reviews for Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, review for Baby Girl. I'm finishing that up here today. A review for Queer. All the awards things are coming y'all's way, so make sure you're subscribed everywhere so you know those reviews are live. As far as streams, I'm going to be doing a stream here later this week, talking about AEW Dynamite, reviewing that. I'll probably sneak in maybe some Batman Arkham Origins streams, since because that does take place on Christmas Eve. So yeah, lots of stuff coming down the pipeline for y'all. So make sure you're subscribed everywhere so you know when those things are coming out. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. Stay safe, take care of each other, give someone a hug, give someone a compliment. We could always use more positivity out there. And never forget, as always, to keep it real.